Question: are you an overachiever? If all you do is win, 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 no matter what, if you've got money or some other benchmark, key performance indicator of success on your mind and you can never get enough, and if for whatever reason every time you step up in the building and everybody's hands go up, please raise your hands. Make them stay there. Make them stay there. And if you feel so inclined, up, down, up, down, up, down. My name is Hamza Khan, and I am the coordinator of Student Affairs Creative at Ryerson University in Toronto, Canada. I'm also a recovering overachiever. And I've got some advice for all you fellow overachievers in the room today. Stop. I mean it. It's overrated, it's counterproductive, and if you haven't already, you're going to hurt yourself in the process. Trust me. In 2014, the summer of, I planned the trip of a lifetime. Now, here's the thing about being an overachiever. Overachievement extends to every dimension of your life. Not just work, it especially overextends itself into leisure. This is an actual travel itinerary. I planned this in the summer of 2014. I told myself in the winter of 2014 I was going to go away and enjoy this. Toronto to New York, New York to Milan, Milan to Prague, Prague to Amsterdam, Amsterdam to Kuala Lumpur. What was I thinking? I actually have the bookings to prove this. Now, the day I was supposed to leave, I got cold feet. My mind and my body just weren't agreeing. My willpower was completely sapped. I was angry, I was resentful, I was feeling guilty, I was feeling ashamed. As an overachiever, it's not okay to feel this way. At least I didn't think so. And as I was festering in this stew of negative emotions, I asked myself some tough questions. What happened? Why didn't I get on this flight? Why did this happen? Is something wrong with me? How could I have prevented this? How didn't I see this coming? Was this inevitable? And the most scary question of all, am I alone? And that winter, I studied burnout. I learned about the 12 stages of burnout as defined by Drs. Herbert Freudenberger and Dr. Gail North. And I learned that it started the same for me every single time. Performance pressure converted itself into this immense compulsion to prove oneself. I would walk to campus every day feeling like our national treasure, Drizzy Drake, charged up. And that lent itself perfectly to working harder. 9 to 5s became 9 to 9s, 9 to 9s became 9 to 12s. I was working evenings, mornings, weekends, statutory holidays. Whenever my colleagues, friends, or family would see me working in 2014, to paraphrase Rihanna, they'd see me doing work, 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 work. But then I started to pull from some really dark sources of energy. I started to neglect my sleep. That was the first to go. Then the gym, then eating healthy, and then relationships. I was sacrificing the very things that I needed to restore and replenish me. And once I got to stage 3 of burnout, that was it. Slippery slope from then on. Stage 4, I started to displace conflicts. I revised my values. I denied that I even had a problem in the first place. I withdrew. I began to demonstrate some odd behavioral changes. I started to see other people as antagonists in my life. And then this immense inner emptiness. Goals didn't make sense. I didn't know if I was making progress. And then full-out depression. And by the end of it, I had completely burnt out. And that's because I had a very unhealthy relationship with stress. I didn't even know what stress was. So I researched it. And I learned that stress is defined as the result produced when a structure, system, or organism is acted upon by forces that disrupt equilibrium or produce strain. There's good stress and there's bad stress, and all I knew was bad stress. And I learned that we are arguably in the most stressful time in human history. In fact, 69% of us report that work is a significant source of stress. Put your hands up if that's you. Right? Work is a significant source of stress for us. And the things that are stressing us out, the economy, fear of job redundancy, all sorts of things. But it's not just affecting us, it's also affecting the entire economy. $300 billion a year is lost in productivity because of absenteeism, turnover, and healthcare expenditures. And I'm not talking about simple sick days. Folks, I'm talking about things as grave as death. The Japanese and the Chinese have a word for this, respectively. Karoshi and gulasi. It literally translates to death by work. Take that in. 1,600 people a day die in China from working too hard. I'm not talking about factory workers or people laboring in the sun. Knowledge workers, white-collar workers, information workers like you and I. Now, here's the kicker. The most stressed of this multi-generational workforce, look to your left, look to your right. Chances are, no one's sitting beside you. But it's us, it's you and I, millennials. We are the most stressed of this multi-generational workforce. And so I had time in the winter of 2014 to think about what was happening. I was gambling. Every day I would get up out of bed and go to work and gamble with my well-being because I believed in my definition of success. And I know that success requires effort, effort induces stress, and stress can lead to burnout. So what does a good gambler do? A good gambler figures out a way to minimize risk and to maximize reward. So I applied a very simple risk assessment framework to my predicament. And I learned very quickly, it confirmed what I already knew. The impact of stress on my life was very high. And the probability that I was going to experience stress was also very high. So what I had to do was diminish and devalue both variables. And so I tried something in 2015, last year. I tried to unlearn stress and relearn it, understand the difference between good stress and bad stress. I tried to become a high performer instead of an overachiever, so as to reduce the probability of stress. And I also tried my best to develop resilience and thereby minimize the impact of stress. And something amazing happened. I hovered within the first 2 stages of burnout all year. That's it. I never went past that. I felt the compulsion to prove myself. I worked hard. And every now and then, every now and then, I would tap into that negative source of energy. I would sleep a few hours less. I would maybe skip a meal. I would maybe not go to the gym. But that was it. It never went beyond that. And what I unlocked, folks, was a state of productive anxiety. This is where I did my best work. This is where I had all the benefits, all the highs of being an overachiever, with none of the lows. Did it work for me? 2015, I arguably worked harder than I did in 2014. I achieved more. I burned the light, burned the candle on both ends. I burned bright. And here I am today. I'm not burnt out. So I want you all to think about the term burnout. Burn out. It's not the fire that's the problem, folks. It's the absence of the fire that is the problem. And so if you're going to take away anything from this, please burn bright, not out. Thank you so much.